Confidence is the invisible thread that weaves attraction, respect, and desire together. It is not loud. It is not boastful. It does not need to announce itself to the world, yet every man notices it, feels it, and unconsciously leans toward it. High-value women understand this truth deeply. They know that confidence is not something you can fake with words, with forced charm, or with attention-seeking behavior. It begins within, in the quiet certainty of who you are, what you want, and what you will accept from others. When a woman steps into a room with confidence, her presence speaks before her words ever do. A man does not need to be told she is secure, successful, or self-assured. He senses it immediately. He notices the way she walks, the way she holds herself, the calm assurance in her eyes, the deliberate choice of her words. He notices the lack of hesitation, the absence of neediness, the subtle ease with which she interacts. And this is what makes him feel drawn, intrigued, and captivated. Confidence is often mistaken for arrogance, but they are entirely different energies. Arrogance demands validation, craves attention, and often seeks to dominate a conversation. Confidence quietly communicates, I know my worth, and I do not need to prove it to you or anyone else. A high-value woman understands this distinction. She does not over-explain herself, she does not justify her choices, and she does not compete for anyone's approval. Instead, she moves through the world with a sense of calm assurance, and that calmness creates an invisible magnetism that pulls a man in without effort. Every interaction becomes a stage where confidence shines. When she speaks, it is measured, deliberate, and intentional. She does not fill silence with meaningless chatter, because she knows that her presence alone is powerful. A man listening to her feels the weight of her confidence, the stability of her energy, and the clarity of her mind. She does not ask for attention. She commands it subtly through her demeanor. She chooses words that resonate, tone that conveys calm authority, and expressions that reflect self-possession. A confident woman does not need to shout her value. She simply embodies it, and that embodiment creates an aura that is irresistible to men who can recognize true strength. Confidence also means being comfortable with imperfection. A high-value woman knows she will make mistakes, say the wrong thing sometimes, and face moments of vulnerability. Yet she does not let fear or insecurity control her. She acknowledges her flaws without shame. She carries herself with dignity, even when things are uncertain. And she trusts in her ability to navigate life's challenges. This kind of confidence is magnetic because it shows a man that she is emotionally resilient, capable, and self-reliant. He does not feel burdened to fix her, chase her, or fill voids. He feels challenged in the most alluring way, drawn to her energy and inspired by her self-possession. Physical presence is another layer of confidence. The way a woman carries herself, the alignment of her body, the posture that radiates assurance, these details are not accidental. A high-value woman walks into a room without shrinking or bending to anyone's expectations. She maintains eye contact that is steady but not intimidating. She smiles with warmth but does not overcompensate with forced laughter. Every movement is intentional, reflecting a woman who knows her power and is comfortable inhabiting it. Men notice this immediately because it communicates something beyond words. She is whole, complete, and not defined by anyone else's perception of her. Confidence also allows for authentic expression. When a woman speaks from confidence, she does so without fear of judgment. She does not mold her opinions to please others. She does not dilute her passions to make them more acceptable. She knows that her voice carries value, that her choices deserve respect, and that her energy is not negotiable. A man listening to her feels that authenticity deeply, often without even realizing why. There is an undeniable attraction to a woman who expresses herself freely, who does not shrink to fit someone else's expectations, and who stands firm in her beliefs while remaining graceful and approachable. Interestingly, confidence is most powerful when it is paired with mystery. A high-value woman does not need to reveal everything about herself all at once. She allows space for curiosity, for intrigue, for a man to wonder about her inner world. Confidence is not about transparency for the sake of attention. It is about knowing your value and letting it shine through subtly, naturally, and effortlessly. Men are drawn to women who exude self-possession without overexposure because it stimulates the mind, the emotions, and the desire to connect deeper. Confidence also transforms the way a woman handles rejection, challenges, or criticism. Instead of reacting impulsively, over-explaining, or seeking approval, she responds with poise. She understands that not every man will be aligned with her energy, and she does not chase, cling, or compromise her dignity. This resilience is deeply magnetic. Men are instinctively drawn to women who cannot be shaken easily because it reflects inner strength, emotional maturity, and the kind of stability that feels rare and precious. Ultimately, confidence is the language of value. It is not learned overnight. It is cultivated through self-awareness, self-respect, and deliberate practice. A high-value woman speaks, moves, and engages with men from a foundation of inner certainty. She knows her worth and communicates it in every glance, every word, and every subtle gesture. When a man encounters her, he senses that she is complete on her own, and that very sense of completeness sparks admiration, desire, and emotional investment. Confidence is the silent force that transforms ordinary interactions into moments of magnetism, connection, and attraction. It is not loud, not flashy, and not performative. It is calm, composed, and quietly irresistible, and it is this confidence that ensures a man cannot help but notice, respect, and feel drawn to her. High-value women understand the principle that most people never truly grasp: less is more. The art of subtlety is not about playing games or hiding who you are. It is about communicating power, presence, and value without needing to shout, over-explain, or overexpose yourself. Every word, gesture, and glance is intentional. Every moment of silence is meaningful. Men are drawn to women who understand that attraction is not built by volume, by constant attention, or by the need to be seen at all times. It is built by restraint, by mystery, and by the quiet power of knowing when to speak and when to hold back. When a high-value woman engages in conversation, she chooses her words carefully. She does not fill every silence with chatter simply to be noticed or liked. Instead, she allows pauses to exist, understanding that silence is not emptiness but a space where curiosity and desire grow. A man feels the weight of her presence in those pauses. He notices that she is not desperate for validation, not trying to entertain endlessly, and not eager to prove herself. She speaks in a way that creates intrigue, that leaves room for him to lean in, to wonder, to want to know more. The power of subtlety lies in the fact that it engages the imagination, it creates anticipation, and it makes every interaction feel meaningful, even when only a few words are spoken. Subtlety also communicates confidence without force. A woman who understands this principle does not need to boast about her accomplishments, her appearance, or her life. She does not over-explain her intentions or apologize for her presence. Her actions, her demeanor, and her carefully chosen words convey everything that needs to be known. A man senses this immediately because it signals emotional maturity, self-respect, and a deep understanding of her own worth. The less she tries to impress, the more he notices. The less she reaches, the more he is drawn in. In essence, subtlety is the silent language of value, one that speaks louder than words or declarations ever could. Body language is another crucial aspect of subtlety. A high-value woman moves in ways that reflect ease, grace, and self-possession. She does not fidget, over-animate, or force gestures that are unnatural. Her posture is confident, her expressions measured, and her movements intentional. A simple tilt of the head, a knowing glance, or a gentle smile can communicate far more than a long monologue ever could. Men notice these details, often unconsciously, and they respond to them with a mix of intrigue, admiration, and attraction. Subtle gestures carry weight precisely because they are rare, deliberate, and free from neediness. High-value women also understand the power of restraint in sharing personal details. They do not reveal everything about themselves at once. They know that attraction thrives on curiosity, and that mystery is one of the strongest forms of allure. By keeping certain aspects of their lives, thoughts, and feelings just out of reach, they create an irresistible pull. A man becomes invested, not because of pressure or manipulation, but because the woman has shown that her life is full, complete, and worthy of exploration. She allows him to gradually earn the privilege of deeper understanding, which creates desire, respect, and emotional connection in ways that oversharing never could. Subtlety is also expressed in tone and energy. A high-value woman does not need to raise her voice to be heard. She does not need to dominate conversations or demand attention. Instead, she communicates with calm authority. Her voice carries certainty, her tone communicates self-possession, and her energy reflects stability. Men respond to this naturally because it signals that she is grounded, emotionally secure, and in control of her own presence. In contrast, Women who speak loudly, constantly seek attention, or overexplain often create unease, uncertainty, and even resistance. Subtlety, when combined with confidence, becomes magnetic. Another key aspect of subtlety is knowing when to respond and when to let things be. High-value women are not reactive. They do not rush to reply to messages, comments, or situations out of fear of being ignored or forgotten. Instead, they allow space, creating a natural rhythm of engagement that draws a man in without pressure. He feels her presence, her interest, and her boundaries simultaneously, and this balance makes him more invested because he senses that she is not available to just anyone or at any time. Every word, every response, and every gesture becomes a calculated expression of value, even if it appears effortless. Subtlety also applies to compliments, teasing, and humor. High-value women do not overdo flattery or joke excessively to get a reaction. Instead, they sprinkle their words with light, intentional charm that engages without overwhelming. A well-timed compliment, a playful tease, or a witty remark creates connection and intrigue because it is not forced. Men notice the difference instinctively. The woman who communicates subtly feels sophisticated, mysterious, and deeply attractive. Ultimately, less is more because it creates an aura of self-possession. A high-value woman understands that she does not need to explain herself, justify her actions, or overshare to prove her worth. Her restraint is not coldness, it is a reflection of inner strength, intelligence, and emotional maturity. Men feel drawn to her not because she demands attention, but because she embodies the kind of presence that cannot be ignored. Every glance, word, and gesture carries weight precisely because it is intentional, measured, and free from need. The art of subtlety is a lifelong practice. It requires awareness, discipline, and a deep understanding of human psychology. It is cultivated through self-respect, observation, and the deliberate choice to communicate with purpose rather than impulse. A high-value woman does not act out of fear, insecurity, or desperation. She acts from a place of clarity, knowing that true attraction is built through mystery, confidence, and the understated power of less. Subtlety allows her to navigate conversations, relationships, and interactions with a quiet mastery that men find impossible to resist. It is a language that transcends words, a force that cannot be forced, and a principle that ensures she always maintains control of her value, her energy, and the space she occupies. Listening is one of the most underestimated and overlooked tools of attraction, yet for high-value women, it is a power unlike any other. Men often feel that attention and validation are what make them drawn to a woman, but in reality, it is the art of truly listening that creates a connection deeper than words or gestures ever could. Listening is magnetic because it communicates presence, value, and care without effort. It is the quiet signal that a woman sees the man not as an object of desire, but as a complete, complex individual worthy of understanding. When a man feels heard, acknowledged, and respected, it activates something primal. He feels safe, valued, and understood, and he instinctively leans closer emotionally and mentally to the woman who provides that rare space. High-value women do not listen with the goal of responding quickly, correcting, or inserting their own stories into the conversation. They listen fully, deeply, and without judgment. Every pause, every subtle nod, every soft acknowledgement communicates to the man that his thoughts matter. He feels the weight of her attention not as an obligation but as an intentional act of presence. This kind of listening is magnetic because it is rare. Most people listen to respond, to argue, or to be polite, but a woman who listens to understand creates a space where a man feels free to express himself without fear, hesitation, or the need to perform. When a high-value woman listens, she makes the man feel like the most important person in the room. She mirrors the unspoken energy behind his words, picking up on nuances, emotions, and intentions that often go unnoticed. She reflects understanding back to him, not through repetition or mimicry, but through subtle cues, eye contact, posture, and carefully chosen affirmations. He feels acknowledged on a level deeper than language, and this emotional resonance is what fosters attachment. Men do not always recognize why they feel so drawn to a woman, but the act of being truly heard creates a magnetic pull that is impossible to ignore. Listening is also about patience. High-value women do not interrupt, rush, or finish a man's sentences. They allow him the space to unfold his thoughts fully, even if it takes time. They understand that real communication is not a race or a performance, it is an exchange of energy and understanding. By holding space for him, She conveys a sense of stability and calm that is incredibly attractive. The patience involved in listening also signals that she is emotionally mature, self-assured, and not driven by ego or neediness. This subtle energy is far more compelling than a woman who tries to dominate the conversation, speak over him, or showcase her intelligence in every sentence. A high-value woman also listens beyond the words being spoken. She pays attention to tone, body language, and emotion. She understands that attraction is not only about what is said, but how it is said. A man may say one thing, but his energy often reveals more than words can express. By tuning into these subtleties, she responds in ways that create connection and validation, not correction or judgment. Her presence becomes a mirror in which he sees himself fully, and that reflection builds a sense of intimacy, trust, and desire that cannot be fabricated. Listening is magnetic because it is rare and intentional. Most women focus on impressing, sharing, or dominating a conversation, but high-value women understand that the most compelling thing they can offer is their undivided attention. A man senses the difference immediately. He feels relief, comfort, and excitement in her presence because she does not demand, interrupt, or judge. Instead, she allows him to reveal himself naturally, and in doing so, she becomes the vessel through which he experiences validation, connection, and attraction simultaneously. Furthermore, listening is a demonstration of emotional intelligence. High-value women do not react impulsively to everything that is said. They observe, they absorb, and they respond thoughtfully. A well-timed comment, a reflective question, or a gentle acknowledgement shows the man that she is present, grounded, and engaged, not desperate or performative. Emotional intelligence in listening signals that she is capable of handling complexity, uncertainty, and vulnerability, which creates an irresistible sense of stability and safety. Men feel drawn not only to her words, but to the calm, assured energy she carries while listening. Listening also fosters trust, and trust is the foundation of deep emotional attachment. A man who feels that his thoughts and feelings are heard without judgment becomes more willing to open up over time. He begins to associate the woman with safety, understanding, and emotional connection, which creates a cycle of attraction that is both subtle and profound. High-value women recognize that this process cannot be rushed. They allow trust to build organically through consistent, attentive listening. Each interaction becomes a brick in the foundation of desire, respect, and emotional intimacy. Finally, listening creates a space for him to experience himself fully. He feels alive in her presence because she is not competing for attention, not pushing her agenda, and not forcing conversation. Her focus is entirely on him, and this focus communicates something rare, that he is important, valued, and worthy of her attention. Men are instinctively drawn to this energy because it mirrors a sense of respect, admiration, and emotional safety that is often missing in everyday interactions. The more a woman listens without judgment, without haste, and without distraction, the more magnetic she becomes, not just intellectually, but emotionally and energetically. The power of listening lies in its quiet authority. It does not dominate, manipulate, or demand. It simply allows, receives, and validates. High-value women understand that attraction is not created by words alone, but by the way a man feels in their presence. When a woman listens fully, deeply, and intentionally, she communicates more about her values, strength, and self-possession than any speech, outfit, or action ever could. Men feel it in the moments of silence, in the pauses between words, and in the gentle acknowledgement of their thoughts. Listening is the subtle, invisible force that draws them in, captivates their attention, and ensures that they do not just notice her. They are compelled to seek her presence again and again. High-value women understand that attraction is not just built on words, looks, or intellect. It is also built on energy. The energy she carries, the way she interacts with the world, and the subtle playfulness she brings into her interactions can ignite desire and emotional attachment in ways that nothing else can. Playful and light-hearted energy is magnetic because it creates joy, comfort, and intrigue all at once. A man is naturally drawn to a woman who makes him feel lighter, happier, and more alive simply through the way she engages with him. High-value women know how to balance depth with levity, seriousness with fun, and mystery with approachability, and this balance is what keeps men captivated without effort. Playfulness is not about being silly or childish. It is about engaging with the moment in a way that feels authentic, spontaneous, and joyful. High-value women understand that life is too short to take everything seriously, especially in interactions with men. They know that laughter, gentle teasing, and light-hearted banter are tools that build connection and intimacy without force. When a woman can create moments of joy and amusement, she becomes someone a man wants to be around repeatedly because she adds emotional richness to his life. He begins to associate her presence with pleasure, comfort, and excitement, and this association is deeply magnetic. Light-hearted energy also signals emotional stability. A high-value woman does not allow every small inconvenience, misunderstanding, or disagreement to become a source of tension. She chooses to respond with grace, humor, and perspective. Men are drawn to this because it communicates maturity, resilience, and emotional intelligence. He senses that she can handle life's challenges without drama, that she is not easily shaken, and that she does not carry unnecessary burdens into their interactions. Playfulness in this context is not superficial, it is a reflection of inner strength and confidence, a demonstration that she is comfortable in her own skin and capable of bringing joy without seeking validation. Teasing is a powerful aspect of playful energy. High-value women use light, gentle teasing to create subtle tension, curiosity, and attraction. Teasing is not mean-spirited or intended to belittle, it is a way of engaging a man's mind, making him think, smile, and invest in the interaction. A playful comment or joke can communicate interest and attention without overtly stating it, which is far more effective than overt flattery or constant affirmation. Men are wired to respond to challenge and intrigue, and playful energy provides both in a way that feels natural, fun, and effortless. The art of light-hearted energy also lies in being fully present. High-value women do not distract themselves with phones, thoughts, or outside concerns when interacting with a man. They engage completely in the moment, finding joy in the conversation, the shared laughter, and the subtle exchanges of energy. This presence is magnetic because it communicates attention, appreciation, and genuine interest without desperation. Men feel seen and valued in a way that is rare, and this emotional resonance strengthens attraction at a deep level. Playful energy is also about adaptability. High-value women read the room, sense the mood, and adjust their energy to match the flow of the interaction. They do not force humor when it is inappropriate, nor do they suppress joy when the moment calls for lightness. This intuitive approach to energy keeps a man intrigued because it communicates emotional intelligence and awareness. He feels that she is not only fun and engaging but also attuned to his energy and capable of creating a dynamic interaction that is both stimulating and comfortable. High-value women understand that playfulness is a form of communication that transcends words. A mischievous glance, a teasing smile, a subtle gesture, all of these convey interest, curiosity, and engagement without overt statements. Men respond instinctively to these signals because they are rooted in emotion and energy rather than logic. When a woman can communicate through energy as effectively as she does through words, she creates a level of attraction that is magnetic, effortless, and lasting. Playful energy also creates memories and emotional anchors. Men remember the way a woman made them feel long after the words are forgotten. Laughter shared, moments of light-hearted fun, and subtle games of intrigue become emotional imprints that bind him to her. High-value women know that these moments are more than entertainment. They are tools of connection, attraction, and long-term emotional investment. By creating positive emotional experiences consistently, they build a presence that becomes unforgettable in his mind and heart. Importantly, playful and light-hearted energy is balanced with boundaries. A high-value woman is not playful at the expense of her dignity, respect, or standards. Her teasing never compromises her self-respect, and her laughter never masks insecurity. She knows that true playfulness comes from a place of self-assurance, not neediness, and this authenticity makes her energy magnetic. Men sense when playfulness is genuine versus when it is used as a mask or manipulation, and they are naturally drawn to the former. Finally, playful and light-hearted energy reflects freedom. High-value women are free to enjoy the moment, free to express joy, free to engage without fear of judgment or rejection. This freedom is contagious. Men are drawn to women who embody it because it offers an experience of liberation, excitement, and emotional safety. The energy is magnetic not because it is manufactured, but because it is authentic, deliberate, and deeply rooted in self-confidence, emotional intelligence, and presence. High-value women understand that the foundation of attraction, respect, and long-term connection is authenticity. They do not shape themselves to fit someone else's expectations, nor do they compromise their values or desires to gain approval. Instead, they live, speak, and act in alignment with their true selves. Authenticity over approval is magnetic because it communicates strength, clarity, and self-possession. A man senses immediately when a woman is aligned with who she truly is versus when she is performing, pretending, or bending to meet external demands. When a woman embodies authenticity, she does not need to seek validation or reassurance from anyone. Her energy alone communicates worth, stability, and emotional maturity, and men are drawn to this naturally because it reflects a rare combination of freedom, confidence, and emotional integrity. High-value women do not speak or behave to impress a man. They do not mold their words, actions, or appearance to meet what they believe a man wants. Instead, they express themselves honestly and intentionally. Their opinions are spoken with clarity and conviction, their emotions are shared with balance and awareness, and their choices reflect their inner values rather than the desire to fit into someone else's mold. Men sense this alignment because authenticity carries an energy that is unmistakable. It is not loud, forced, or attention-seeking. It is calm, consistent, and deeply magnetic. When a woman is authentic, a man does not feel the need to chase, convince, or test her. He recognizes the self-possession and is naturally drawn into her orbit. Authenticity also communicates emotional security. High-value women are comfortable with who they are, including their strengths, flaws, and complexities. They do not overcompensate for perceived weaknesses, nor do they exaggerate qualities to gain admiration. They embrace themselves fully and do not require constant external validation to feel worthy. This sense of inner stability is magnetic to men because it creates a dynamic in which he does not feel pressure to fix, reassure, or chase. Instead, he experiences a woman who is whole on her own, and this independence triggers respect, desire, and admiration simultaneously. One of the most powerful aspects of authenticity is its ability to create clarity and boundaries. High-value women are clear about what they want, what they will accept, and what aligns with their values. They communicate these boundaries calmly and confidently, without guilt, fear, or over-apology. Men respond to this clarity because it signals maturity, decisiveness, and self-respect. A woman who consistently chooses authenticity over approval does not compromise herself to maintain a relationship or to avoid conflict. Her energy signals that she is not available to everyone, only to those who align with her values and respect her boundaries. This selectiveness heightens attraction because it creates a natural sense of challenge and desire. Authenticity also fosters trust, which is the cornerstone of any meaningful connection. When a woman is genuine, a man feels safe to be himself. He knows that she is not playing games, manipulating him, or presenting a false version of herself. This safety allows him to open up, share his vulnerabilities, and invest emotionally. High-value women understand that authenticity is reciprocal. By being true to themselves, they invite the same from the men they interact with. This dynamic builds deeper intimacy, stronger emotional bonds, and a magnetic connection that is difficult to replicate with superficial charm or approval-seeking behavior. High-value women also recognize that approval is fleeting, but authenticity is lasting. Seeking constant approval from others, particularly men, leads to inconsistency, frustration, and a sense of emptiness. It is rooted in fear, insecurity, and external dependence. Authenticity, on the other hand, is rooted in self-awareness, self-respect, and inner strength. It allows a woman to move through life with consistency, integrity, and a sense of purpose that is deeply attractive. Men feel this energy even before words are exchanged. They recognize when a woman is aligned with her truth and are drawn to her naturally. Another critical element of authenticity is the courage to show vulnerability without sacrificing strength. High-value women are not afraid to express emotion, admit uncertainty, or reveal aspects of themselves that are tender or complex. They do so with grace and poise, without over-apologizing or seeking validation. This vulnerability, combined with self-possession, is magnetic because it communicates depth, emotional intelligence, and human authenticity. Men are drawn to women who can balance strength with vulnerability, confidence with humility, and independence with connection. Authenticity also manifests in decision, making, and action. High-value women make choices based on their inner compass, not the perceived expectations of others. Whether in conversations, relationships, or career decisions, they act with intention, integrity, and clarity. Men notice this decisiveness and are drawn to the reliability and certainty it conveys. There is a magnetic pull in knowing that a woman's energy is aligned, that her actions reflect her values, and that she does not bend easily to please or impress. This combination of self-awareness, courage, and consistency creates a powerful aura of attraction that words alone could never achieve. Finally, authenticity over approval transforms a woman's presence. She walks into a room, engages in conversation, and interacts with men from a place of truth. There is no mask, no pretense, no need to perform. Her energy communicates a quiet authority, a sense of completeness, and an unwavering self-respect. Men sense this alignment instinctively. They feel drawn to it, intrigued by it, and compelled to invest in it. Authenticity is the silent language of high-value women. It does not demand attention. It commands it effortlessly, and it is the energy that ensures a man does not just notice her, but feels deeply connected to her essence. High-value women understand that boundaries are not limitations. They are the silent declaration of self-respect, clarity, and inner strength. Boundaries define what she will accept, what she will tolerate, and what aligns with her values. And this clarity is magnetic to men. When a woman communicates her boundaries clearly, confidently, and consistently, she does not push, plead, or manipulate. Instead, she creates an environment where respect is the natural response. Men are instinctively drawn to women who value themselves enough to set limits because these boundaries communicate self-possession, emotional maturity, and a sense of worth that cannot be claimed by words alone. Boundaries begin with self-awareness. A high-value woman knows who she is, what she desires, and what she will not compromise. She understands that her time, energy, and emotional investment are precious, and she does not give them freely to those who do not align with her standards. This self-awareness allows her to navigate interactions with men intentionally, avoiding situations where her value might be undermined or taken for granted. She does not seek control over others, nor does she bend to fit expectations. Instead, she stands firm in her choices, and this firmness communicates a level of respect that is immediately recognizable. Men respond to boundaries because they signal clarity and strength. When a woman is clear about her expectations, he does not have to guess, manipulate, or test her. Her boundaries create a structure in which attraction and connection can flourish naturally. High-value women understand that boundaries are not meant to repel or alienate. They are meant to communicate worth. They allow a man to see the standard she holds for herself and for her relationships. And this standard becomes magnetic precisely because it is non-negotiable, consistent, and aligned with integrity. Boundaries are also expressed through communication. High-value women do not shy away from expressing what they will and will not accept, but they do so with grace, calm authority, and respect. They use their words intentionally, conveying limits without anger, aggression, or defensiveness. Men instinctively recognize this energy as different from neediness, manipulation, or control. Boundaries communicated clearly demonstrate that a woman is emotionally intelligent, self-reliant, and unafraid to prioritize her well-being. This combination of firmness and poise draws admiration, respect, and attraction in equal measure. High-value women also understand the balance between boundaries and openness. Setting limits does not mean shutting down connection or emotional intimacy. It means creating a space where healthy engagement is possible. A woman who maintains her boundaries allows a man to step into her world respectfully and intentionally. She does not overextend herself to gain approval, nor does she tolerate behaviors that diminish her energy. This balance communicates a rare type of value, one that combines strength with approachability, independence with connection, and self-respect with warmth. Men notice and respond to this balance instinctively because it signals that she is complete on her own, yet capable of sharing her energy and time meaningfully. Boundaries also define how a woman navigates her time and energy. High-value women do not make themselves available to everyone at all times. They prioritize their commitments, passions, and self-care, and they communicate these priorities without guilt. Men are drawn to this energy because it signals autonomy and respect for oneself. The woman who protects her time communicates that she is intentional, focused, and discerning, qualities that inspire desire and admiration. Her boundaries become a reflection of her lifestyle, her values, and the standards she maintains for the people she allows into her inner circle. Another important aspect of boundaries is emotional regulation. High-value women do not allow others to manipulate, guilt, or pressure them into decisions or behaviors that conflict with their values. They respond thoughtfully, calmly, and deliberately. This emotional control signals to men that she is mature, grounded, and capable of handling challenges without drama or impulsivity. Boundaries in this context are magnetic because they create an environment where respect is given naturally and attraction grows through the clarity and steadiness of her presence. Boundaries also teach men how to value a woman. When she communicates her limits, she is setting the standard for how she expects to be treated. Men respond to women who do not tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, or neglect because these boundaries signal worth. A high-value woman does not seek to punish or withhold for the sake of control. She simply refuses to compromise her energy, dignity, or standards. This creates an irresistible dynamic where respect is earned through alignment, intentionality, and mutual regard, and men are drawn to it instinctively. High-value women also maintain boundaries in subtle ways. It is not always about verbal declarations or confrontations. Often, boundaries are expressed through tone, energy, body language, and choices. A calm no, a confident pause, or an unhurried response communicates limits more powerfully than words ever could. Men sense this energy intuitively, and it establishes an unspoken framework of respect. This subtle communication ensures that attraction is not built on coercion, pressure, or neediness, but on recognition of value, self-possession, and intentionality. Ultimately, boundaries define respect because they are rooted in self-awareness, integrity, and self-worth. A high-value woman understands that every interaction, conversation, and relationship is filtered through the lens of her standards. She does not compromise to gain approval, nor does she bend to accommodate insecurity or external pressures. Her boundaries ensure that she attracts men who align with her values, respect her time, and honor her energy. In doing so, she cultivates relationships that are not based on desperation, manipulation, or fleeting attraction, but on mutual recognition, appreciation, and genuine desire.